someone,
It's hard to
let
to
go.
just let them
and
go.
there's a lot of what if. There's no if. Just leave.
Hi, I'm Liana.
And I'm Grace. Welcome to Pillow Talk, where we talk about all things relationship every single week, and we feature experts. So our advices are actually legit.
So if you have any questions, just comment them down below.
And this week, we're talking about toxic relationships.
So Grace, have you ever been in one?
I'm not sure, but I think I'm the toxic person. Okay, have you been?
I'm not sure too.
What actually makes you a toxic person or
Yeah,
a toxic relationship?
Which is why we have our guest today. Welcome, Kirit.
Hi.
Hello.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Kirit. I am the Community Engagement Officer at WAO. I basically do a lot of engagements with people on the ground, with university students, and we talk about domestic violence and abusive relationships.
So that's why you are perfect for our episode.
So a viewer sent us this question. She said, I'm currently in a relationship with my college sweetheart, and they've been dating for about 7 months. And she said recently the boyfriend has started to get jealous unnecessarily, and he's even beating her if she doesn't do as he would say. So what should she do? Should she be worried or?
First of all, the abuse has become physical. She should definitely find a way to remove herself from the situation. I assume since they're still in university, they're not living together, so that would make things easier. The first few things she can do is talk to her parents, talk to her friends, talk to her support system. If she's afraid and would like more specific actions, I would advise her to call our helpline.
Am I in a toxic and or abusive relationship? So is there a difference?
A lot of the time, people conflate toxic relationships and abusive relationships. The most important thing to remember is a toxic relationship does not necessarily mean it's an abusive relationship.
Right.
Yeah. And an abusive relationship is usually a toxic relationship.
Yes.
Okay. Why do you think abuse happens?
Anger?
Anger. What else?
Unsolved issues.
Unresolved issues.
Okay.
Conflicts.
Conflict. When you have conflict, I'm sure you have conflict at work, right?
Yeah.
With your colleagues.
Yeah.
Do you resort to hitting your colleague?
No. Maybe we just talk back behind them, but that's it.
I don't think that's resolving it.
That's not resolving it either. Okay.
But yeah, no
So,
hitting definitely.
Why do you think? Would you hit your boss?
You're scared, or like there's a sense of like respect at the same time.
Okay, so that's important. Respect. Your boss has power.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
yeah.
Okay, so that's the reason why it doesn't happen. I think it's important for us to differentiate that abuse happens because of the misuse of power somebody has. When you are in an abusive relationship, you as the victim are here and the perpetrator is here, and it's usually like this.
Yeah,
right?
you're the submissive
You're just
person.
submissive and you're accepting
Whatever.
Right.
all the anger, all the frustration, all the abuse. Okay, in a toxic relationship there might be power balance, so the arguments happen this way. This person is yelling at this person, this person yelling at this person. The
Right.
power imbalance is not felt.
Right.
Alright, so that is key in identifying if a relationship is abusive or a relationship is toxic. I'll give you a few questions that an everyday person can ask about their relationship. Do you feel scared in your
We were
relationship?
just gonna ask that.
Yeah, we were thinking about
Do you
it
feel
like.
scared?
this is
That's a
scared.
really good question. Do you walk around on eggshells around your partner? Are you scared to upset them? Do you feel like you have no say in your relationship? What you do, where you go?
You just listen.
You just listen.
and obey.
Of course, the best person to make this decision and come to an understanding of what your relationship is you.
That's really deep
What
for
if
me.
it's a yes and like say the first question itself, if someone is afraid of their partner, is that already a big sign that it's
big-
I think that is a huge red flag. Think about, for example, your friend. Okay, a really good friend, your best friend. Are you afraid of them?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're actually very comfortable.
Yeah. Relationships aren't supposed to have that element of fear. Yeah?
Will talking help? Let's say you're scared and you let it out and you want to tell your partner, I'm a bit, still not at that comfortable level with you. Will that help?
This is a question we get often. It's phrased in many different ways. Can the abusive partner change? Things like that. Yes. Okay, but it's very unlikely. When that dynamic is already there, it's hard to change, and for a person to change, it's going to take a lot of unpacking to understand why they behave in this manner. So I think it's important that people realize that it's not your responsibility to help your partner grow and change as a person.
True.
You know, it's your responsibility to do your part in that relationship. And that's it.
So how would you actually label abuse? You know, sometimes when you're fighting or what, then they could just like accidentally push you or shove you. So okay, I've got this friend. She is in this relationship with this guy for about 2 years. They live together, and there's just so happened one day he got really mad about something, and then he just like hold her hand and grab and then like pushed her against the wall, and he was just almost hitting her face, but he stopped. She just went like, okay, hit me if you dare. And he stopped there. So he didn't actually hit her yet, but he did grab her and push her to the wall, but that's it. And it never happened anymore. Is that abuse?
So a lot of the time, people only think that physical abuse is abuse. They often forget that usually following the physical abuse or before the physical abuse, there is emotional abuse, psychological abuse. Is your partner manipulative? Do they make you feel bad about yourself? Do they make you feel like you have to earn their affection? That decision can only be made by your friend. She is best placed in the position to think about her relationship deeply, whether or not this relationship is abusive or not, or toxic or not. For me, for example, that's done. I'm done.
Same. I was like, when I heard her talking about it, I was like, the moment he grabbed and the intention of doing so, how do you know he's not going to do it? Like the next time he might actually just do it. So for me, it's like that was done, but she feels like he didn't actually do it yet. Why does she even want to stay?
I guess this would be a good point to jump into what we call the cycle of abuse. I'm going to use your friend as an example. I think it's a great example because a lot of us know somebody like this. Yeah, a lot of the times people are stuck in abusive relationships because they are stuck in a cycle of abuse. I think you said something really interesting just now. Just because he didn't hit her then doesn't mean he won't hit her in the future.
Yes.
So the nature of the cycle of abuse is cyclical. So it starts off, everything's great and amazing and everyone's happy, and tension builds in that relationship. So I'm sure tension built. Okay? So your friend probably did everything possible to make sure that she doesn't upset her partner. Because of the dynamics of that relationship, it doesn't matter. Something or the other will trigger an explosion.
Like petty things.
Yeah. So we've had examples of women coming to our shelter and telling us that their partner hit them because the coffee wasn't hot enough to hit someone.
Not even logic.
So
there's no logic.
So if it's illogical reasons, that's where it's wrong.
My question would be to you is there a logical reason to hit someone?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Think about that. The other thing the perpetrator will do is apologize.
Yes, and they'll say like they're sorry, they won't do it again. They give you all these empty promises. Actually never
mean it.
It just continues.
It's just like
a habit.
a habit.
I feel like it's a habit already.
It's not out of sincerity.
Yeah.
So that also leads to the next question, because nowadays there's lots of films and TV shows that romanticizes toxic relationships. You know, like abusive boyfriends, like you.
And it's the thing is we heart this kind of relationship. We know it's wrong. Have you watched You?
Yes, I have.
Netflix? Okay, so Joe and Becky's relationship. You know Joe is a toxic boyfriend. He's a toxic partner to be with. Yet you still can't help like, I understand where he's coming from. It's a deeper level of everything he says or do is actually right, but he's just doing it wrong. And you don't talk about like he shouldn't have done that. You talk about like his feelings towards it.
At the end of You, what happens to Becky?
She dies, guys. She dies.
My point exactly.
The point is all there.
Case in point, right?
Yeah.
I get it. I think it's important that whenever we watch something, we are critical enough of it.
To take in the lessons. Right.
Have you heard about like Stockholm syndrome?
Okay, yeah, I have.
Okay. So it's when like you develop feelings or affection to your kidnapper. So being in an abusive or toxic relationship, is this somewhat similar, or are there any terms that we can label this kind of situation?
Interesting question, one I've never been asked before.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say that I know so much about Stockholm Syndrome to speak on it, but I would think that in some cases, it might be similar. I'll give you an example. One of our survivors who said that she didn't know that she was
She's
going
in
through.
a,
Actually, most of us
Yeah.
don't know
Don't
until like you're
realize.
out and you just like it just hit you.
Yeah, or when you share with your friends
Yeah.
about what happened, and then your friends are like, "That's not normal,"
Yeah.
and then you're just like, "It's not."
Yeah.
So when it comes to toxic or abusive relationships, right? How do we know enough is enough? Where do we draw the line?
For me, the moment I feel unappreciated or I'm just doing like a one-sided thing, and it's making me do things that I won't usually
Do, right?
Yeah, it's the time I would say I'm done. And people's boundaries vary. Some people sit and tolerate a lot more, which
Yes.
I think, why should you?
Where can we go to seek help?
If you have a supportive family, supportive friends, I would urge you to get them to teman you, alright, to go to the OSCC. Do you know what the OSCC is?
No.
So the OSCC is a one-stop crisis center. It's located in the emergency department of all the government hospitals.
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
So the OSCC is also helpful if you know someone who's gone
Is
through
this
sexual
like
assault.
okay, yes. I was just gonna ask rape cases.
Correct. When you get to the OSCC, you can make your police report there. You can ask for a JKM officer to come, and you can ask for social workers to come from NGOs. Alright? The OSCC is an important place because it helps the survivor just go to one place.
You don't
And
have to go like to the hospital and then to the police.
Please.
Okay.
Okay, that's really helpful. Yeah.
If they do tell you, oh, you kena pergi balai buat report.
There was a recent case, right? That
Which
happened.
is not according to protocol. What the survivor's rights are is the police officer supposed to come to her to get the report, whatever she wants to do. Alright? We will do a medical checkup and the doctor will process you and things like that and write a report. So then you will use this report to do a police report.
Since we're like speaking about like sexual assault, let's say your partner wants to have sex and forces you to have sex even though you don't want. That's abuse as well.
Yes, that is
Right.
rape.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think a lot of women and even men, they feel like, hey, I'm your partner or I'm your husband and
I
you're
have the
my
right.
wife. Yeah, you have the right. Or he has the right to have sex with me just because we are on paper husband and wife.
In Malaysia, marital rape is not yet illegal. So technically it's not a crime. I think we must understand as a community, as Malaysians, that no one is entitled to anyone's body. And WAO is pushing hard to make marital rape a crime. It's a process.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that term is even
Yeah.
known
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, not many
many.
people are aware of. Are there any final
Advice for
Advice?
anyone who might be going through this exact situation or just finding out that they're actually in
The
an abusive or
person
toxic
or the toxic
relationship?
person in
Yeah.
the relationship?
I think for the toxic person, take some time out. Think about how you behave in relationships. For survivors who are currently in abusive situations, I urge you to reach out to supportive family members, to supportive friends. I urge you to reach out to us, to WAO. You can text us, you can call us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much. We
Cheers
learned
for like shedding light on this really
Heavy
heavy
Yeah.
issue topic. People don't talk about abuse. People don't talk about
not
toxic.
enough. Yeah.
It's a very taboo word to use.
And people are still embarrassed or afraid to
Afraid.
even discuss about it.
Yeah. So don't be afraid. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Thank you. We'll see you next
Thank you
week.
so much. Bye.